Good morning, everybody. My name is Greg Napier, and I'm out of the great state of Ohio, the city of Columbus. And I'm going to be sharing some good nuggets with you guys today to the best of my ability. So I'm going to give Facebook some time to actually catch up. If you have not subscribe to my channel, I would like for you to subscribe to my channel because I'm going to be doing a lot of Facebook Lives here coming up in the near future, especially doing Mondays. I'm going to do it on Mondays at 11-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. Somewhere in the ballpark at 11, so let me know where you're chiming in from. I'm in Ohio, Columbus. You may be in somewhere in the United States, somewhere in the world. If this is your first time tuning in, watching my beautiful face, yes, vanity is not one of my weak points. Let me know. Type in a 1 if this is your first time viewing me. If this is your second or third time, just type in a 2. And we'll get that. And let me give you a shout out from where you're actually coming from here in the United States. I'm going to give Facebook a little time to gather up the momentum. And again, I promise not to be alone, but I promise to be strong. And I've been thinking about this subject all week long. So I've had a time to think about it. And basically, it's going to be very, very good for me, and I'm going to be transparent as the only way that I like to be. Those of you who know me or don't know me, or you're going to get to know me, you're going to know that I love to be transparent. Transparency is the only way. Sometimes it might hurt a little bit. So be it. It is your life. And the title of this is My Story, Greg said. Yes. And I actually put 3 bullet points on here. The first one is why. And I'm going to tie this into my story pertaining to life and business because they both go hand in hand. Life and business. And you'll get a better understanding of that as I go on throughout this. So basically, the 3 bullet points are your why, passion, and also the fact that you need to stay focused. So I'm going to share a little bit with you guys, those who may know me and those who may not know me. Like I said, I'm from a little small town in Tennessee called Chattanooga. I am the child. I have 5 siblings. I'm the oldest of 6, 5 boys and 1 girl, 1 sister. Yes. Single parent, raised in the projects of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Yes, I had 3 great, outstanding mentors at that particular time. And they were my grandmother, my mother, and my uncle. Yes. And I learned a little bit from each one of them, and I actually am utilizing that right now as we speak. From the time as far back as I can remember. And when I'm tying this in as far as my life and how this ties into business and your life, and the reason I'm saying this is because I hear a lot of people talking about, your why has to be big enough to make you cry. And if you don't know what your why is, you really need to examine what your why is. I hear all of this now as I've been out here in this industry full time since 2009. But let me explain something to you, ladies and gentlemen. I had a why long before I even heard that word. You got to have a why big enough to make you cry. You need to have passion in what you're doing. I understood that. And I understood the fact of staying focused until you complete the task. I learned that. I learned those 3 ingredients at a young age. Yes, at a very, very young age. I learned a lot. I learned from my grandmother the art of, staying focused, being passionate about what you're doing. And my why For all intent and purposes, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up in the projects of Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I was poor from the start. But I knew that I wanted something bigger than those projects. I remember my mom used to remind us all the time, we live in the projects, but the projects are not inside of you. I didn't understand that until I got older. So I started reading at a very, very young age. I mean, I could read at age 5. I could read very good from 6 on. So by the time I came out of kindergarten and got into the first grade, I could read, I could write, and I could add and subtract. And back in the day, my day, they called it learn your read, write, and arithmetic. So the old school people understand what I'm talking about, reading, writing, and arithmetic. So I learned all of that. I knew what my why was. I knew what my why was way back then when I didn't even know what that meant. All I knew is that I wanted to get out of the projects. I needed to get out of these projects. It wasn't no fault of my mom's. It just was the conditions that we came up in. We, just being like I said, I was going to be transparent. Me and my brothers all have different fathers. Yes. So everybody has, that's why I said my story, Greg said, yes. So I learned a lot of stuff from my grandmother. My grandmother was taking us to church at a young age. She taught me how to bake. She taught me how to love and respect people. Not to say that my mother didn't teach me that. I learned more of that from my grandmother. I learned business from my grandmother. My grandmother was an entrepreneur. My grandmother ran her own baking and sewing business back then. I remember she used to have cookies and pies and bacon, and people would come over and she was baking. She coined this one particular bread, and it was called monkey bread. And she became famous for that. And she was known all over the United States, yes, for making this particular bread. So I've seen entrepreneurship at a very young age. I made my first money at age probably around, I would say 8 or 9. Yes. I was hustling pop bottles at 8 or 9. They had certain pop bottles in Chattanooga that you could take them to the corner store and you could get a nickel for one bottle, or you could get a dime for another one. And back then, I could have 25 cents and I could purchase a bag of chips, a soda, and a candy bar and have change. So I've been hustling. I understood when we were living in the projects and people would come over and knock on our door and say, hey, my mom said, do you have any sugar? Do you have any eggs? And things of that nature. So I understood that. That's where the why came in. Subconsciously, I knew in my mind that I did not want to live like this once I got to a certain age. Not to say that it was bad, ladies and gentlemen. You just have to, like they saying right now, you have to have a why that's big enough to make you cry. Well, that was making me cry. I had a lot of crying days, but I didn't know the difference. I'm a young kid growing up in the project. What I know. So back then, we collected pop bottles and made money. We also read comic books, and back then, comic books had bubble gum in them. And you can get the bubble gum, and they had subscriptions in them. So I remember I filled out a subscription to sell this paper. And this paper was a variety paper called the grit paper. And I filled it out. I snuck and did it. My mom didn't know I was doing it. I was a mischievous child, but I knew I wanted to make money. And I knew my mother couldn't provide that money for me. I knew that. You raising 6 kids, how's she going to provide that money? Her job, and she told us all the time, my job is to clothe you, feed you, and provide a roof over your head. Anything else is extra. I mean, we were going to the Goodwill and the Salvation Army back when it probably wasn't considered popular, but here's the deal. Everybody in my neighborhood was doing it. So my why was definitely big enough to make me cry. Yes, very much so. So as I travel on this journey, I fill out the paper. I fill out the subscription. I get the paper. Paper comes in. They give me instructions. Now, remind you, I can read. So I would be downtown Chattanooga. Get your grit paper here. Get your grit paper. I was selling it. So one day, I discovered that this company was making more money than I was getting. I didn't understand what I understand now. What that company was leveraging themselves off of me. They provided the paper. They paid me a certain percentage, and then I had to. I kept my percentage for me, and I had to send them the difference. Well, it dawned on me at 8. I think I was about 9, maybe 10. It dawned on them. I'm doing all of the work, and they're getting all the money. So one day, I just decided I'm not going to send them any more money. Right. So consequently, that ended my days of selling that paper. So time went on. Something happened. My grandfather got ill. He was living in Ohio. So my mom moved us to Ohio. Came to Ohio when I was about 12 years old. I got my first job washing dishes at age 13. And if you live in Columbus, Ohio, you'll know the geographic location of what I'm talking about. I would walk from Franklin Junior High School over to Whittier Avenue every day for a whole entire year after school. And they were paying me $50 a week in a brown envelope. Yes, at age 13. Legally, you're not supposed to be working. I was washing the dishes. I worked in this little small German restaurant called Dibel's. The building is still there, but the restaurant no longer exists under the name of Dibel's. I worked there for a whole year. I would walk there. My mom would pick me up at the end of the day. We lived on Kelton. So I did that for a whole year. They paid me $50. All of the waitresses were Ohio State students. That's how I started my journey on becoming an Ohio State Buckeye, coming from Chattanooga. I don't know no different. So I'm still on this thing of not wanting to return to poverty. So $50 a week was great money. And then as time went on, they started giving me tips because I was helping them out. So I was making a lot of money at age 13. So we moved up north off of Sunbury Road. I started attending Mifflin High School in the ninth grade. So now I'm hanging out with my uncle. And my uncle, this is where I'm learning how to become a street pharmacist, pharmaceutical salesman. That's what they call them. So in the meantime, I learned the entrepreneur portion from my grandmother. I learned from my mother how to sew, how to wash, how to clean, how to do all of those other domestic kind of things. Those were my mentors. I learned that. And I also learned that I didn't want to work 2 jobs because I watched my mom and my grandmama work 2 jobs. I remember walking my mama to the bus stop for her second job, and she carried a little 22 automatic in her purse. Yes. And I was the one that was in charge of taking care of my brothers, my younger brothers at that time. And I was young. So I had all of these dynamics going on. So when you talk about your why is big enough to make you cry, my why said, look, Greg, whether I was saying it or not, I was living it. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you know that your why should be big enough to make you cry, but everybody has a story. And you have to, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, want something bad enough that you do not want to return to that mess. So as time went on, I'm learning from my uncle. My uncle was working a full-time job at night, and he was hustling by day. And when I got into this game, no one put a gun to my head. There was no peer pressure. I did this. It was an all-volunteer army. I loved my uncle that much. That was my mother's brother. My grandmother only had 2 children. Yes, my grandmother had 2 children. She had my mother and my uncle. And I learned from all 3 of them, and I still apply a lot of those principles to this day, and I'll be 60 years old in February. Yes. So when I had this title, you have to have a why, you have to have passion, and now I can keep going on and on about the why part, but my why was big enough to make me cry. I eventually start becoming a pharmaceutical salesperson at the age of 15. Yes. I'm not saying this to brag to you or anything like this. I'm just saying to you that God blessed me that I didn't get caught. Because back in the day, you only did business with people that you knew. So I knew about the know, like, and trust deal back then. All of this stuff that I'm learning that I'm becoming aware of right now, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. I did that at 15. I only did business with people I knew, liked, and trust. Yes. And I worked a job. But at 15, I didn't have a job. That was my job. At 16, I got a job working at the airport. I've always been a hustler from age 10. I'm telling you this story and I'm painting this story because here's the deal. This is going to resonate with somebody and it's going to help somebody because it helped me. Yes. So what I'm saying is I understood about the why. I understood about the passion. I understood about doing business with people you know, like, and trust because that's how I survived. I only did business back then from age 15 all the way up. It was quite some time before I quit doing that. Yes. People I knew, like, and trust because I didn't do it to make a living. I did it to survive and eat. I understood when I watched my uncle, he would tell me, hey, you take this, you make this, you got this. I did it. I understood customer service. I did that. I applied the principles that he showed me, and I apply them right now. Customer service. I knew about customer service at 15. So that's why it seems like it's real easy for me, but I've been doing this since I was 10. I'm 59. So my why was big enough to make me cry. I've been passionate about not returning and being poor. Yes. And I'm going to continue to tell you this stuff so you'll understand that when you hear me out here in the future, you'll get a better understanding of who Greg Napier is. When I say Greg said, and you see me post all over the place, this is real stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I am the real McCoy. I am not fake. There's no artificial substance, nothing. This is real. Yes, I did this for a long time. I remember when I went out for the football team, and you got to understand like this. I didn't grow up playing Little League. I was hustling and going to school. I ain't had time for Little League. All the guys that I got to meet when I moved to Columbus, they had grew up playing Little League. I grew up playing football on the streets. Yeah, with no equipment. When I remember the day they came to us and they said, you know what, would you like to try for the football team? We're going to have equipment on, helmets and shoulder pads. And I said, seriously? And we get to hit people and we're going to have all this on? Sign me up. I signed up. I had a heart that was big, and I was a little cat. I went out for the varsity team in the 10th grade. I made the team 10th grade. I didn't start. Back then, I'm still talking about why, and I'm still talking about passion. I had something inside of me that no one can give you. I had a heart. And I had a passion for wanting to do what I wanted to do. I had desires to want to be a professional athlete at one point. Growing up in Chattanooga, yes, I did. I didn't always just want to be out here hustling and get myself out of the projects because we were playing sports and I wanted to do that. I was one of the second fastest guys in my neighborhood. There was a girl that was faster than me. Yes. So when I came to, it was an easy transition because I had been playing football without equipment. Now you say I can play football with equipment. So I made the varsity team. I didn't start in my 10th grade year. I went out and I went on and I started in my 11th and my 12th grade year. Yes, I was taking my classes. So I kept pursuing my goal. I kept pursuing my dream. Yeah, that's why you always hear me talking about dreams. That's why it was really more than 3 ingredients to this. These were just the core, and you can feed off of the core, which is your why, the passion, and then focus. Because you have to have all 3 of those in order to branch off into the other little areas. And you need all of this in life and in business because they're intertwined. As I'm going on, I'm on the football team. I remember as clear as day, we go to the city championship in 1975, and I'm in 11th grade, and I'm like, wow, here's this little poor kid from Chattanooga, Tennessee, and now I'm on the varsity, and I'm starting. And I'm starting at center, and I weigh 150 pounds soaking wet, and we had a real good team both years. Let me tell you something. I'm going to fast forward a little bit on this. This is how naive I was. I turned down a full scholarship to go to West Virginia State because I didn't have nobody guiding me. Because I wanted to go, I wanted to go to California. I didn't have a daddy. My uncle was doing what he was doing, so he wasn't really giving me everything that I really needed. He didn't say yes, do it, no, do it. So I was making a lot of decisions on my own. Yes, but I still had a passion for what I was doing. I had a passion for two things: being a successful athlete and making money. I've always had that drive and passion for making money, and I was always focused. I stayed focused. I stayed focused on that. I understood what my why was. That wasn't never going away. I was already passionate about what I was doing. So those two things went hand in hand. So here's what's so interesting about that. When your why is so big and your passion is so big, you're going to go to bed. You're going to stay up late and get up early. I was doing that at 14 and 15, ladies and gentlemen. So when I hear Eric Thomas talking about, you got to get up at 3 o'clock, why not? Man, I've been doing that for years. I've been practicing this thing for years. Yes, years. This is not new. I won't say it's old. It's just something that I've been doing for a long time. Yes. I've been walking in this thing for a long time. So when you see me doing this, and I hear people, excuse me, I hear people talking about your why, and you have to have passion, and you need to stay focused. I've been doing that. I've never taken my eyes off the prize. I never will take my eyes off the prize. The only way that I take my eyes off the prize is when they put me under and they throw the dirt. And I was listening to one of my mentors. I'm not sure if it was Eric Thomas or if it was Denzel Washington. And he said, there are no U-Hauls going behind a hearse. Means you can't take nothing of it with you. So at the time when I was brand new and didn't understand, I was living each day like it was my last. I don't do that now as much as I did then. I won't say that I've gotten complacent. I would just say that I'm getting a little older. But I know I can't take none of it with me. So if this is helping anyone, please share this out with some of your friends and family, your co-workers, whoever you think may get some value from this. If you're getting some value from this, give me some hearts, give me some thumbs up, give me something. Let me know that you're still there. I see we got a few people here. We got Raymond Randall, we got Jackie, we got Alonzo. Let me see, we got quite a few people on. We got James Clay, we got, and you may be looking at this live or you may be looking at the recording later. On the recording later, just put replay and they'll let me know that you were here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I'm a real person in a real world with real situations that have occurred. I've had this entrepreneur and businessman mentality my entire life. Yes, that's why it seems like it's easy. So as we go on, I graduated from high school. I enjoyed my high school years. I just had a great time in high school. I left Ohio. I went out to California, stayed about a year and a half with my grandmother. That was a wonderful time for me. I got to really get deep down and intimate with her like I had never gotten before in my life. I am a grandmother's baby, and my grandmother has been gone since 2000. And I told that to my wife the other day, and she said, "You still a grandmama's baby." And I said, "You know what? I really miss my grandmother. I wish she was here right now, because I used to call her all the time." I had, and this is painful for me a little bit. I had a very, very great relationship with my grandmother more than I had with my mother and my uncle. Even though I learned from all three, it's just my grandmother was just like my best friend. Like she was my best friend. She was it. And when I went to live with her out in California, she taught me a lot of stuff. So I'm living out in California. Things is going good. I even tried, playing football a little bit out there. That didn't work out. Went over to another college. Went to 2 different colleges out there, as a matter of fact. I seen that the football thing was not going to happen. And yes, I did try my hand at the pharmaceutical salesman thing out on the West Coast. I couldn't get the hustle out of me. So yes, I was doing that. I'm just being transparent, ladies and gentlemen, letting you know that the why was still there, the passion was still there, and I was still focused. I was still focused on everything that I was doing. I never took my eye off the prize. You can't take your eye off the prize. If you're starting in a business, remember why you're doing it. What's the purpose of you doing it? Are you passionate enough to continue it? Even if things aren't going the way that you think they should be going. Things didn't always go the way I thought they should go. Absolutely not. But I remember what I had told myself. I'm not going to be in them projects. No, I'm not going to live like this. I guarantee you I'm not. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Hook or crook, I ain't going back. I'm not doing that. And I kept pursuing that. I stayed focused on that. And my passion was waking me up early in the morning, even back then. So then fast forward, I leave California, I come back to Ohio. I joined the Marine Corps because I had tried college and I seen that the football deal was coming to an end. Remember, I'm making all these decisions on my own. As I come to find out later, that was God had his hand on me. Without you, if you don't believe in God, that's a whole nother different story. We can talk about that at a later date, but here's the deal. I believe in God. So God was speaking to me. And I was like, you know what, man, hey. So I joined the Marine Corps, 1979. I'm in the Marine Corps from 1979 to 1983. I traveled all over the world. I said, okay, this thing is off the chain. I am loving this. My first duty station was Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. After Cuba, I go out and I've traveled all over. Some places I've been that most people dream about. I say all this to say that I still had my why in the back pocket. I still was passionate about what I was pursuing. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me explain something to you. You may not have the same story as me and not even knew why you were doing something. May not know that you need to have a certain degree of passion to do it, but you most definitely have to stay focused and keep your eye on the prize. You utilize these 3 things right along with other things that need to take place, and you'll stay grounded and you'll know, because you know where you've been and you know where you need to go, and then there's a dash in between. You start here, in here, dash in between. So you're like, hey, I knew that. I'm still on the dash. I already didn't have the beginning. I'm still on the dash. We all know what the end is. That's when they throw dirt in your face. So I finish off my deal with the Marine Corps. I get back to, Columbus, Ohio. I take the test for the Postal Service. And boy, that's when life starts getting a little tidge bit better for a brother. Yes. Yeah, I take the test with the Postal Service. It's the greatest day of my life. Besides, there's the 3 things that happened that were real great. Finding out about salvation, marrying Carolyn, and getting a job with the post office. And I'll elaborate on that a little bit as I go on further. But here's the deal. I get the job with the post office. I'm feeling great. I'm working. I'll start there in 1984. In 1985, I buy my first house. I'm 27 years old. Now, you don't know this, but I'm still selling merchandise. Now, I'm not a pharmaceutical salesman at this time because I'm working for the government, so I got to cut that out. But I transfer that over to jogging suits, hats, things of that nature. I still got this entrepreneur bug. I know I need to make money. I'm all about making the money. So I'm still hustling. Working for the Postal Service. I remember that they had this clock that came out called the Dream Team clock, when the first Dream Team with Magic Johnson and all them guys. I was buying that clock for $10 and selling it for $25, all while I was working at the post office. Yep. Bought my first house, like I said, at age 27. And that was 1985. And I still own that home to this day. I did something one time, and it's paying me over and over and over. Now, were there a lot of peaks and valleys in there? Did I have bad tenants when I decided to start renting it? Yes. But I'm getting residual income. So this is all still tying in, ladies and gentlemen, to my why, my passion, and me staying focused. Yes, you have to do those three things in your life and also in your business. If you're getting any value, let me know you guys are there, because I can see a bunch of people popping on, but I don't see no hearts. I don't see no thumbs up. I don't see no frown. Even if you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. If you like it, tell me you like it. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Because here's the thing I learned a long time ago. I'm ministering to myself if nobody likes it. That's the cool part about it. But here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If you want massive success in your life, you definitely have to have a why. You have to know why you're doing something. And you have to have passion about it, and you have to stay focused. Those are three main ingredients. If you're not utilizing those three main ingredients, then what's the sense in doing it? Anybody can make money. Making money is easy. I can go out right now and take a small sum of money, find out what the market is bearing, and I can start making money. I don't have to have no passion for it. I don't have to be focused. I have to be a little focused about it. I don't have to have a why other than I just want to make money. Take 1,000, make 2,000. Guess. Anybody can make money. You have to find out why you're actually doing it, because when you find out why you're doing a thing, you'll do it even if you're not making any money, or the money's not even coming in like you think it should be coming in right now. Because I can assure you that a lot of money has transferred through my hands over the years. Yes. Yeah. My wife and I, we got married at age 30. Yes, that was in 1988. In 1993, Carolyn divorced me. In 1995, December 27th to be exact, she remarried me. Again, I'm a real person in a real world with real situations, real ups and downs. This is the kind of person that you want to deal with. If you're not dealing with a person like that can't be transparent, then you better run fast and quick. Because you got a lot of shysters out here, and I didn't see them all. Just like they say the wolf comes in sheep's clothing, that's a fact. They're going to come, and some of them might be even your friends and your relatives. Yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Know why you're doing it. Have passion in what you're doing and stay focused. And you'll be fine. So anyway, Carolyn, we got remarried in 1995. We moved and left Ohio and went to Philadelphia. We were in Philadelphia for a brief moment. Then Carolyn took a job and we went to Pittsburgh. So in 1998, I jumped into what I've loved from the beginning when I first bought my first house at age 27. I jumped into the real estate game, which I really loved. Yes. I remember when I bought my first investment property. And I remember going to the closing and making $15,000. They gave me a $15,000 check. The mortgage was $400. I was renting it out for $650. I was positive cash flowing and had money in my pocket at the closing, had equity in the property. Yes. Whether you like this guy or not, I always use his name because I was referring to it long before, he became president. You guys refer to him as 45. See, I just respect the office. Whether I like the guy or not, he's the president of the United States of America. That's just it. And that's all I'll say about that. So I just became like the black Donald Trump. I was buying property like it was nobody's tomorrow. And I bought property from 1998 all the way up to 2006. I was booming. We had a house built from the ground up. Yes. Had 3 new cars. Had a brand new truck, Mercedes Benz. I'm saying all this. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying to you that this is part of the peaks and the valleys. So $1 million has already gone through my hands twice. Twice. And I'm not even 60. And I'm on my way to coming back. But I understand how it works now. It took me this long to understand how it works. And you got a lot of people out here faking it till they make it, lying, doing screenshots. See, I learned all that later inside this profession. Yeah. But I was already doing most of this stuff before people even knew what this stuff was. So you got a lot of people out here, they real good with computers, so they can lie to people and tell them they doing this and they ain't doing nothing. They lying. Yeah, they lying right to your face, right there on social media, telling you they're making this and telling you they're making this, throwing up screenshots of them making money, and they not making nothing. But they don't want to be transparent. They don't want to let you know, like I'm going to let you know. And right now, I drive a 2004 Trailblazer with 172,000 miles on it. But guess what? It's paid for. I don't have no car payment. I don't have no credit card payment. I have an emergency fund. I only have a mortgage. I couldn't tell you that 10 years ago because I didn't understand it. That's what I'm trying to get to you. I had to tell the story. That's why I said Greg telling his story, because I had to tell you the story so you would know what this was leading up to, so you wouldn't get sideswiped and say, man, here go this dude. He about to drop the bomb. I ain't about to drop nothing on him. I'm just telling you, that you have to know why you're doing it. You got to be passionate about what you're doing, and you got to be focused. I still haven't taken my eyes off the prize, even though I'm only driving a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer with 172,000 miles on it. Yes, but it's paid for. And I've had new cars, and I've had properties, and I've had money, and my wife and I have traveled all over the place. We were spending money like we drink water, but we didn't understand the concept of money. But I never took my eyes off the prize. I never took my eyes. I've been an entrepreneur since I was 10. I told you that. So I understand. I knew about my why because I came up in the projects. I was passionate about what I was doing. Yeah, I could do this with my eyes closed. But you got people out here who lying to you, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to expose the liars and the people who are deceiving people, telling them they're making this when you're not making nothing. If I ask you what company you're in or what you're doing, tell me. Tell a person. If you just started the company yesterday, tell them. If you're not making no money, tell them. If you're making some money, tell them. Don't lie to the people, because it's going to come out in the wash, trust me. And then you're going to look like a fool. Now, if you want to look like a fool, then keep lying. Because believe me, you ladies and gentlemen, there are people who are straight lying to you. They telling you they're making this amount of money every month and they not making nothing. They living at home in their mama's basement. They going out and renting cars, taking these photos with these cars, going out to Vegas and all these different places, faking you like they traveling all over, and they still at their mama's house. Or they still in their little girlfriend's basement. They don't have no money. Now, are there some legitimate people? I'm going to tell you like this. Yes, there are a lot of legitimate, and I know them, but you don't see them flashing all over the internet. Because the real people who making money, you don't see them taking screenshots. The real people making money ain't putting screenshots out telling you, yeah, I made 10,000. I can show you how to make this, and they ain't made a dime. This is real. Yeah. And I'm not digressing. I'm just tired. I'm just sick and tired. I've been full-time out in this industry of what they call network marketing. I've been doing network marketing since I was 10. If I go get a pop bottle and the grocery store gonna get, yeah, that's right. That's right, Lysandra. Hood rich. Yep, that's what they are. I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you said that, because that's what it is. And I know a whole lot of hood rich. Lots of them. See, you can come to my house right now. I ain't got no fear. You can be living anywhere you want. Come knock on my door. I tell you where I live. We can sit down and have coffee, because I don't have no fear. I don't have no scarcity. You see what I'm saying? You can sit down and eat dinner with me. We can have coffee, because I'm the real McCoy. And I watched the movie when it came out, The Real McCoys. Live, not on syndication, my friend. When it was live, Petticoat Junction and the whole 9 yards, Green Acres and all that. Yes. See, it's time out. See, this is what this industry needs, is some people like myself, and you're going to see this week after week. But I had to get the nuts and bolts out of telling you my story so you can know, yes, I'm a guy from the projects, but the projects ain't never been inside me. I've always had a big heart. I've always had passion. I've always had drive. I always knew what my why was. My why was always big enough to make me cry, even when nobody wasn't telling me that. You didn't have to tell me. I know I don't want to be in the projects, my friend. I know what the projects look like. I know what they look like. I grew up in them. That's why when I turned 27, I bought my first house. And I still own it. I'm saying all this, ladies and gentlemen, if you have the desire and the passion and you're willing to put in the work, you can make money. You can make money in this industry. I remember when I first had my very good taste of making money inside this industry. I thought I had hit the lottery, and I ain't never hit the lottery in my life. And I was inside this company for 2 years. And not only did I make it to a substantial rank, I helped 6 other people make it to that rank. I qualified for a luxury car, had the luxury car for 4 years. And I helped 6 other people, but they didn't want the car. They just wanted the money. I had never had that much success in my life inside of this industry. Never. After that, I said, if I can do it once, I can do it 1,000 times. Like I said earlier, making money is easy. It's easy. You just got to know why you're doing it and have a lot of passion to do it. I get up right now at 3 o'clock in the morning, every morning, Monday through Friday. I don't know what time it is right now, but I started this live around 11. Yeah. I got up at 3. I'm not going to lay down and take a nap until around 1:30, 2 o'clock. My wife said that to me earlier. I don't know how you do it. I admire you for doing that. Because I don't know many people can do that. That's my best friend. Because my 3 best friends are gone. So Curlin came along in 1985. Actually 84, but we started dating in 85. My best friend in the whole world. And I grew up with it. And I have a male best friend too. I've known since I was 14. But Curlin is my best friend. We sit and bounce things off each other all the time. I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen. I love you. If you got any value or you think that this was good, share this out with your friends. Hit the notification button so you'll get notified, because I got something powerful I'm going to share with you next week, next Monday. Yes, it's going to be powerful. If you think this was powerful, wait until you hear what's going to happen on Monday. I'm going to do this every Monday. I want to give a real good shout out to somebody that I met online that I have never met in person. And I have been following her for quite some time. I sought her out, and she's on this live broadcast, Lysandra Everett, over in Massachusetts. She's a military person. Her husband's in the military. She's a beautiful person. I sought her out and I asked her a few questions. She said, Greg, do this. And I don't know if you real, Greg, if you start doing this. And I said, you know what? The proof is in the pudding. You're right. Documentation beats conversation every day. I just want to give a shout out to her for actually, pushing me. And I've had a lot of people, push me. I read a lot. I have physical mentors and I have books. I read, and I've been doing this, ladies and gentlemen, since I was 10. I didn't just start reading yesterday. I probably read more books than most people read to go to college. I know for a fact that I read more books than my nieces and nephews because I've already asked that question. And they don't. They don't. Because I already asked. That's where that passion comes in at and the focus. I already know what my why is. I've been knowing my why since I was 10. So I don't need to, say my why is big enough to make me cry. Look, I ain't going to the projects. No, I can assure you that. Hook or crook ain't no projects. Guaranteed I am not going to be in the projects. Since living in the projects, I only lived in 2 apartments in my life before I bought my house at age 27. That was in California when I was living with my grandmother, and I had to move out from her, and then I lived in an apartment. When I came back from the military, and I lived with this chick named Nikki, and I was living in an apartment for a brief period. But I was already, here's the thing. Subconsciously, I knew what my focus was. I was passionate about what I needed to do. And my why definitely said, well, you're going to get up out of here. And that's where I've been. So I'm just going to say, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for spending the time with me. I have no idea. I don't put no time clock on this. Because when you're sharing your story, and just remember this, take your time. Don't be in a hurry. People can smell that. Your story is your story. Take your time with it. Don't be out here just because you're trying to get some likes and you're trying to get, I'm not trying to get likes. I'm not trying to get popularity. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you love it. If you like it, I love it. Here's what I know. I love it. Because my story is my story. And it applies to my life and it applies to my business. And I know why I'm doing this. I'm passionate about what I'm doing because I continue to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, Monday through Friday, and I'm straight focused. I just told you I've been up since 3 o'clock, and I'm not going to lay it down till 1:30. And I'm going to get up around 5:30, and I'm going to keep it going. And I'm going to lay it back down around 10 o'clock and start it all over again. I'm on a mission, and I'm not going to quit. Here's the deal. Here's what most people don't have. See, it's not, and you hear this all the time, and I'm going to leave with this. It's not the size of the dog. It's the fight in the dog. See, I've been a dog since 10. Yeah. And then I joined the Marine Corps, and one of their deals is called Devil Dog. I don't really like that terminology, but it is what it is. I'm a believer in Christ, so, to call somebody a devil dog, but that's just what it is. Just like I said, it's not the size of the dog, it's the fight in the dog. See, you're going to know I'm in the fight. You're going to see me. You're going to see me. So now you get a better understanding of who the person I am when you start talking to me. Because whether you talk to me on this Facebook Live or whether you talk to me in person, I'm going to still be the same person. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful and super and phenomenal and fantastic day. I know I said a whole lot. Wonderful, super and phenomenal and fantastic day. Say that 10 times. Because you know why? You absolutely deserve it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, click on it so you can get the notifications. And I will definitely see you guys around campus, which I call social media.